Welcome to all the listeners. Welcome to the Insider Stock series of IIM Vishakhapatnam. Today, we have the privilege of hosting Aditya Mohanty, a dynamic leader at the intersection of product management and the exciting world of Web3. Aditya plays a pivotal role as head of Product Folks, Asia's largest and most vibrant product management community, where he fosters innovation, collaboration, and growth among thousands of aspiring and established product leaders. He is also the driving force behind the Product House, a fast growing Web3 community that is paving the way for the future of decentralized technology and its application in real world problems. Aditya's remarkable journey has seen him navigating both the traditional and cutting edge realms of product management, and today he will be sharing his invaluable insights, lessons, and the challenges he overcame along the way. So, please buckle up as we dive deep into the mind of one of the most influential figures shaping the product management and Web3 spaces. We thank you for being with us, Aditya, for today. And I have with me my co-host Rajat Saini. He too is a coordinate for VPod.
Hi Aditya. Good evening.
Awesome, great to be here. Thanks, Nilesh and Rajat. Thanks so much for inviting me and great initiative. I think initiatives like these help students within the campus outside also to uh, learn more and get better acquainted with how things work in the real world. So great initiative. Kudos.
Thank you, Aditya.
So Aditya, we will just get straight to it. So you have built one of the major communities, the product folks, and can you share your journey and inspiration behind it?
Sure. So I'll just give maybe a little intro about what we do at the Product Folks to set context, right? So Product Folks is currently one of the world's largest product communities, a community where there are product managers, designers, developers, all kinds of product builders, where they come, shape up their ideas, work on interesting things, and obviously people who are already working as PMs across the world now. They get to be a part of the community and they get to accelerate their careers with the help of the right education, mentorship, and career guidance, right? So pretty much everything that we do is for completely free of cost for everyone. We are entirely volunteer run. So we have more than 100 volunteers contributing to the community to make it what it is, right? So this is what we are doing right now, and of course within the product force there are a bunch of different verticals, including something called as women in product, where we saw that there are not enough women in the workforce when it comes to tech product management, right? So we need to change that. We have something called as the fintech folks, the founder folks, so dedicated niche communities where people that belong to a particular domain or an industry, they get to be a part of it and learn together and grow together. So that's the idea behind the product folks. Now coming to how this all started, right? So it was basically all of us, like my co-founder Suhas, he came up with the initial idea. He came up with one offline event in Bangalore. I saw that. Said that let me do one in Mumbai where I stay, right? So I replicated the same offline event here. The initial one probably was attended by just 15-20 people, right? So it was mostly like a weekend side gig sort of a project where we thought that it'll be great to, and this 2019 we are talking about, right? So product management wasn't as hot as it is right now.
Exactly.
Not everyone cared enough about product as a career, or in India especially, the awareness and uh, it wasn't as widespread, if I were to put it that way, right? So back then we thought that a community like this will bring everyone together, will help people who are senior folks in the industry connect with like-minded people, help other folks who are aspirational in nature, right? And there's no structured learning for product as such, right? There's no college degree for product management, right? Mostly people who are into engineering or design, they generally pick up product skills and then venture out into it, right? So that was the initial idea. We started with offline events, one offline event, then two, then 10, then 100, and that's how it started spreading across India and now across the world. But generally, the idea was very simple, that we were in our full-time jobs. We didn't have much to do on weekends, so we thought we'll put up something together where we can have other like-minded folks in a particular city come together under a single roof, chat with each other, have a good time, and go back, right? So
Yeah.
that was the initial idea, and since then, like we have been just compounding month over month, year over year. So yeah.
So now, what is it? 200,000 members, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
200,000 members right now. So, and this is across the world. A large part of it is in India because that's our home turf.
Yes.
But that should change by next year, right? Like we'll have a lot more people. We're already doing more events outside of India than in India, right? So the dynamic is changing now. A lot of action happening in the US, Southeast Asia, Europe, etc. So yeah, pretty exciting next year.
So, behind this remarkable growth, which we have seen for the product folks, what would you, no, can you share us few pivotal moments or strategies that were brought, to you, brought, brought this growth?
Right. Right. So I think there are, if I were to put it in broader terms, there are like 2 or 3 key inflection points in our journey, right? One is going offline to online. So within a few months of starting, product folks, COVID hit, right? And we all know how that went, everything, and we were entirely running offline events. So it was entirely shut overnight, right? So all the events that were planned or everything that was planned, that completely was paused, was put on hold overnight, almost overnight, right? So, but I think that was in a way that was a defining moment for us because that's when we completely pivoted our community to make it online, right? Start doing online events, start doing online educational initiatives. The access was much wider now because everyone suddenly had a lot of time at their hands, right? People in colleges, people who were working, all of them were suddenly sitting in their homes with their laptops with a lot of extra time, right? Which they were either spending to hang out with their friends or colleagues or maybe just outside of their homes. They suddenly were online for a lot many hours than they were before, right? So that acted in our favor where we thought that, why not we create an educational layer on top of it, which can help people learn about product management, right? And it was not just enthusiasts, but even speakers and leaders, they were in their homes, right? Sitting in their homes. They had nothing much to do, right? No offline conferences were happening, no offline major activities were happening, right? So they were suddenly sitting in their homes, wondering how they can help the next generation, right? So this gave us a brilliant opportunity to tie both the ends and see how we can, bridge this gap. And one big thing that happened is it opened up global access for us, right? It kind of we could have speakers from the US come in who had never spoken in India before, right? We could have folks like, if you folks know the founder of Superhuman, right? The email client, he joined in. The founder of Coda, who was earlier leading YouTube, he was one of the speakers. Shreyas Doshi, many of you who follow product, Lenny, again, really good names in the product space. They kind of came on board to talk about their journey, share their learnings, etc. And people were obviously interested because they got access to top quality mentors and leaders at no cost, right?
Yes.
So that became like a pivotal moment for us. And secondly, focusing the entire community around education as a key pillar, right? Earlier, we were focused around networking because offline events, you network with each other, you go back, right? It was centered around that. But later on, we kind of shifted focus to education as a primary focal area, right? So that people could learn. And then obviously they had many other things that they could do, right? It would help in their careers, it would help them build a good network and a bunch of other ancillary things around it. So I think these were a few key moments, like going online from offline, inviting global speakers and leaders. That kind of gave us a lot of credibility because no one had done it in India before. And then obviously keeping education as a key pillar and surrounding everything around it. These I think would be like very key moments in the journey.
Yeah, so that's a very like great insight from your side, and it's a very good initiative as I am also part of the 200,000 plus members community. So I recently joined your Slack community, and I just got an invite from Insurge 24 which is your program designed to help aspiring product managers to in order to advance their careers. So can you please share more about this Insurjo 24 program?
Right. So in Sergio, again, this is our third edition that we are doing. This started in 2021. The idea behind it was very simple, right? Honestly, none of us come from very privileged backgrounds, and
Right.
we didn't have access to, say very strong colleges or very high-end education, right? The idea behind Insurjo was very simple. Can we create a completely online course, invite the best leaders in the world as teachers, and create a course around it and do it for completely free of cost, right? So these three things combined make a excellent force of nature which allows anyone sitting anywhere, like it is surprising, but a lot of our students from Insurjo are from very different parts of the world, including Nigeria or South America or Philippines, Thailand, etc., right? Different parts of the world. Because on an average, if you were to take a product management course today, it would cost you somewhere between 1.5 to 2 lakhs more. So that's why we thought that not everyone can afford to spend, say, 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs rupees to a product course after their college, right? Anyway, they are paying college fees. Anyway, they are paying, say, they are doing an
Yeah,
MBA
right.
like you folks, they are paying MBA fees. But if they were have to shell out a couple of $1,000 again to be educated, it didn't make
Definitely.
sense to us, right? So we thought, let's bring in the best leaders in the world, because we had created a network of very senior folks in the industry, and we obviously had a very large pool of students who are eager to learn, people who are, and these are not just aspiring students, these are people who have many years of experience, right? Some of them have 3 to 5 years of experience in a field like, say, marketing or design or sales or operations, right? Now they want to transition into product.
Yeah.
How do they do it, right? Not everyone has to pay money to be eligible for something like this, right? So this was the idea behind Insurjo. The initial cohort, when we did, we had a crazy response. We had more than 10,000 plus students joining in, right?
Nice.
And this is a huge thing because globally, and Insurjo is probably one of the largest live learning cohorts across the world right now. Last year we had more than 30,000 people joining in, right? So doing a course at this scale again, I think doesn't happen much in India, doesn't happen much globally as well. So when you offer a very high quality education with excellent speakers and at no cost, it enables like everyone who's involved,
Right,
right? It
definitely. So
opens, yeah.
yeah, like adding to this point, like this course is fully available online, right? So does it already pre-recorded, or there is a, so you said there are live lectures. So students, there is any specific timeline where they have to join the course and to complete the course in the particular timeline, or they can do whenever they want after getting an invite, or like getting into the community? What is
Right.
the
Again,
procedure?
we put in a lot of effort behind designing how this course should pan out, right?
Okay.
Now, when people don't pay money,
Hmm.
they have a tendency to not take it seriously,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right.
So that's why the way we have designed the course is it will be done live for 6 to 8 weeks every year,
Okay.
and it has to be attended live. You have to, submit assignments,
Hmm.
work. It is a very intensive course, by the way, right? So you need to do a lot of assignments, you need to do a lot of take home work, you need to attend the classes live on
Okay.
weekdays, weekends. It's very rigorously packed.
Hmm.
And that's what it takes, right? You're not paying via money, but you're paying via your effort and time,
Yeah,
right? Because
definitely.
you can't,
Yes.
yeah, if you are serious enough, you need to show up, right? You need to kind of ensure that you are giving it the time that it needs. And then we got a lot of requests from the community to open up the recordings as well, right? We have
Hmm.
opened up the recordings, but there's a small nominal fee, not in the range of lakhs. It's a couple of thousand rupees, like
Okay.
around 10 to 12,000 rupees, just so that people could access it later on. But
Okay.
that shouldn't deviate them from the seriousness of a live course,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So that's the only reason why we have kept this as two separate things, and we only open up the recorded sessions after a couple of months, right? So students are supposed to watch it live, do the entire course live, and basically it's structured in a way where you spend 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Within 2 months, you'll have all the basic skills that you need to get into product. And then of
Mm.
course it's your own journey. You need to we
Yeah.
encourage everyone to do their own homework. We share a lot of pre-reads,
Mm.
resources, tons of different material that they need to learn by themselves, right? Because here nobody's charging you money, so it
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah,
rob you away from being disciplined. So that's how we have structured it, and a lot of thought went to it. Initially, we had different structures, but this is what we think is best for the community, for us, and everyone involved. So yeah,
So, we were speaking of opportunities. Not everybody has got opportunities to do. Uh,
yeah.
so continuing on that. So you started your venture, and
Hmm.
not from a tier two college. So do you still think there exists a division in current scenario, tier two college with respect to the opportunities which they have?
Again, this is a long-standing debate, not
Yeah,
just in the startup world, but when it comes to investing in startups, when
yeah, right.
VCs look for credentials, or when you are going for a job, when you share your resume, right?
yeah,
Now, I would be lying if I say that it doesn't matter, but it definitely matters, right? Now, imagine you have 100 resumes in your ATS system, right? If
Mm.
you're a hiring manager, or if you're a founder, or if you're a HR person, if you have 100 resumes, out of that, if you were to filter, and all of them are freshers, right?
yeah,
If you want to filter students, what will you filter by, right? You have to filter by colleges, because that's the base criteria for everyone, right? Obviously, there are standout exceptions on both sides, right?
Mm.
There can be cases where a student studying from, say, the top premier institutes might not be as good, but there can be cases where someone studying in, say, a tier two or a tier three or a very low tier college could be exceptional, right? There are exceptions on both sides, but colleges give a filtering criteria to anyone and everyone, right?
right,
So if they were inundated with, say, hundreds of resumes, how would you kind of filter the best, at least in the initial shortlist? Then if they don't find the right candidate, or if they can't get what they need, they'll probably go deeper, right? They'll look at other stuff as well, right? So if you are from, say, a tier two or a tier three college, it's highly now, obviously this stands true for everyone,
mm,
but especially more so if you are not from great college, is to figure out how to stand out,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, right.
To do a lot of projects, to figure out other channels via which you can reach founders, hiring managers, etc. To figure out something which will make you stand out from hundreds of other people who are applying, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, it won't work. Otherwise, the population of our country, right? It's how many people pass out of engineering and MBA colleges every year, right?
Yeah, right.
And we know how many jobs we have available, right? So it's a matter of it's a simple factor of how many supply versus demand. If you want to
Yeah, right.
be more in demand, you have to make sure that you do something additional apart from just relying on your college, right? So that's something I would think of. But there is a divide for sure. It's even though people might claim that it doesn't matter,
Mm.
but still a large extent of hiring plus funding is driven by college credentials.
Okay, so as you said that how to overcome all these challenges, we have to definitely stand out. And I was reading a lot about you, that from your like early young ages, you are reading has been a big part of your professional and personal life. So how does that impacted your journey towards building such huge communities? So can you please elaborate on that?
Sorry, as a note, yeah. Again, reading or uh, listening to podcasts or any sort of knowledge consumption is right. At the base level, it is about surrounding yourself with great minds, right? Now, again, if you are in, say, a college, or if you are in a workplace, or if you are in any given setting, how do you elevate your own self, right? The only way you elevate your own self is by surrounding yourself with great ideas, great thoughts, right? Doing things which not everyone is doing, right? So reading, I feel, is one of the best ways in which you can get exposure to the best minds in the world at
mm,
literally zero cost, right? If you can figure
yeah,
out how to how to get it right. So at very minimal cost. There are hundreds, not even hundreds, like thousands of open podcasts, right?
Yeah.
On YouTube, if you would go, you would have access to the best people in the industry, right? Be it not just product management, but any given domain, right? Just type in a keyword, go into a rabbit hole, and you would find tons of other resources and
Hmm.
like videos, links, articles, everything. So reading, of course, has been like a very important part of the journey. I still block out time in my day to just focus on reading for. In most cases, I can't spend more than say an hour or so, but still make it a point to at least read while commuting or while while I have some off time, etc. So being a super important part uh, it is can't explain how helpful it has been in the overall journey. Uh, but I would bucket everything under one, like knowledge consumption. Being curious about a particular thing is now all of you know how much AI is relevant and
Hmm.
how much impact it has already created and it will create. So if you aren't reading more about how AI will impact your life or impact your work, or
Yeah,
how
definitely.
can you tinker around with different models, how can you play around with some APIs that are available to build something that you want, or just be curious about it, then I think uh, anyone who's curious about these things would land far away from people who are not, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So so speaking on the product managers itself, so lately product managers are actually a lot in news. So there has been some glorification which has happened. So so do you think this role is actually evolving, or is it just more of a perception that the glorification of product managers?
See, every role which starts from say scratch and then suddenly gains traction suffers this problem of glorification, right?
Okay.
So product management, few years back, nobody really cared about it. Everyone was focused on software development or say design or those areas, right? But product is a new function that kind of became mainstream because more mobile apps start getting built, more web apps start getting built, etc. Right? Especially since smartphones are a new thing, right? It
Yeah.
has been a decade almost, right? Like smartphones started coming into the market, especially in the Indian market in 2012, 13, 14-ish,
Mm.
right? And that's when a lot of these emerging players, including the likes of Flipkart, Ola,
Mm.
Zomato, etc., a lot of startups getting built around this, right? So when tech companies are building products, they have to rely on the product function to ensure that they build what users want, right? So it has gone through a lot of transition, but you go and ask in every company what a product manager does, their day-to-day life would look very different, right? So it's not standardized per se.
Mm.
Obviously, it's glorified because everyone thinks they can become a product manager. They think that you don't need to know how to code, you don't need to know how to design. Uh, if you just do strategy, or if you just think through your head and uh, just tell everyone what to do, that's product management, right? But that's not the case. A lot of work goes into it. If you want to build deep expertise in a single area, it involves a lot of actual work, right? So it's going through its own sort of evolution, but I still like keeping the fizz away and just focusing on the substance is super important in this space, right? And it's obviously evolving. It's evolving and it will continue to evolve, especially more so when we have access to tools like ChatGPT or Cloud, etc. These things will only empower the generalists more, I feel.
So, as you said that to become a good product manager, you just need to know more about designing, coding, and also there is not it's just not a part of making strategies, but everything combined, right? So, if someone just starting out of their journey to become a product manager, like what advice would you give them beyond the typical courses, or what practical steps or experiences do you think really make a difference in shaping a great good product manager?
Right. Again, there are tons of literature around this. Like even we have published a bunch of different things on our YouTube, on the website, etc. But if I were to sum it up in practical tips like you mentioned, right,
Mm.
it would be just open your phone,
Okay.
pick any app and deconstruct it a little bit, right? Just see why you know if you open any app, right? If I open Zomato, it
Hmm.
has a delivery option, it has a repeat order option, it has a dining option, and it has a live option, right? Which is their offline events. Now think deeper on why was the decision made, right? Why is the bottom navigation bar uh, structured this way? What is the thought
Yes.
behind it, right? Go
Hmm.
to the search menu, just type in a keyword, see how the search results come up, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
Right.
way it is designed, the way it is structured, there has been a lot of hours put into designing the way it is, right?
Yes.
Open a restaurant page, see how the ratings are showcased, see
hmm.
where the address is shown, see how the menu is displayed, right? A lot of thought has gone into designing every single pixel on pick any app. I'm giving Zomato's example, but pick any app that you have on your phone, right? Install as many apps, like it's literally free of cost. Install as many apps that you can, a lot of popular apps, a lot of mature apps at least, right? Because people have put in hours of effort into crafting it to perfection,
So we
right?
have to think like a product managers, like to
Think like a product manager,
analyze
but
every app.
right, right.
So why seems
Yeah,
to be
don't even label it as a product management, right?
Hmm.
Just go and think from a,
Explore.
and also read. I think reading a lot about psychology and the
Hmm.
way we make decisions or the way we behave, etc., is super important, right? Instead
Hmm.
of reading product management books, I would highly recommend reading more about, how users behave,
Okay.
not just
Yes.
with products, but generally, right?
True.
What leads to a certain human behavior, right? What leads to uh, uh, you know, uh, getting more attention or uh, signaling your status or basically getting what you want, right? If you understand more about the psychology behind how you act and why you act, that is far more crucial than reading about, how project sprints are run. So that's why I think spending a lot of time understanding the core psychology behind things, understanding human behavior, etc., is far more useful. And the easiest way to get better at product or build a strong product sense is just check out any app, any of your favorite apps, deconstruct, figure out how you can make it better. Do it as a daily practice, right? There are hundreds of, like, even if you do one a day, you will never run out of products to explore, right? The Play Store
Yeah.
has millions of products and apps,
Millions.
so you can just keep downloading, compare between different products, right? Go to Zomato, go to Swiggy, check
Hmm.
out each similar type of page, right? Like the home page, the order page, the add to cart page, the checkout page, the post checkout experience,
Yeah.
the way they have designed each of these elements across different experiences, right, is very important to understand. So just doing all of this, just slotting out an hour
Hmm.
to do all of this can be a game changer.
So
Right.
why seems to be the word which every product manager has to live with? Why? Why in every sense?
Right, absolutely.
Hmm.
Just get going a little deeper, right? On a
Hmm.
surface level, we all know how things work,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
right? But asking that extra why helps you understand the bigger reason, right? And that can be crucial at times. So,
So we have to make a decision while building a product. Like as you said, we have to look into the customer's perspective and their psychology behind using a product more. So have you ever faced any situation where you had to say no to a customer request? Like customer requests are a lot, right? So you have to build a product, guess. So the features are kind of very much important in a product. So is there a situation where you had to decide upon which feature to drop off from the product?
yeah, this happens all the time. I think I would flip the question rather than figuring out when to say no. It
Hmm.
is more of a question on when to say yes, right?
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
there will always be hundreds of things that you can build, right?
Hmm.
Take
true.
any product, you can always add 100 features, right?
Hmm.
What is that one feature that you'll build next, and why
Yeah.
would you do that, right?
Okay.
Is the bigger question, is the more important question to ask, right? Because what happens in any fast-paced, right, in India, or even if you're working in an international company, whenever you're taking care of one single product, you have unlimited choices, right? You can decide to go in whichever path you want, and
Yeah.
a certain thing can be done in many different ways, right? So, how do you decide what to do, when you do, and in what order you do is super important, right? That's what product road mapping is all about, right?
Hmm.
The way you plan your roadmap or the way you understand the needs and balance it with the business, right? The opportunities, etc. Prioritization is one of the biggest things that a PM does
Yes, right.
on on a very frequent basis, right? So all of these are very hard skills to learn. Again, technically these are soft skills, but uh, getting to understand these skills better is probably very important, right? If you don't know how to prioritize well, you can mess up your entire product, right?
Definitely.
You will ship something which no one cares about, or if they care about, then your business won't sustain, or if you want to balance both of it, then it won't be effective, stuff like that, right? So you're constantly in a space where you are reevaluating your decision, you're measuring. There's a popular build, measure, learn framework, right? You need to build, you need to measure, then you need to learn from it, and then you again go and build, right? So it's a very cyclical loop, where which you can decide what to do and when to do. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
no, uh, just a random question out of it. For any product manager, uh, in the current scenario, or for you in your mobile, what are the five must-need apps which you think will increase the productivity of product manager? This was one of the our
Mobile apps.
yeah, any mobile
Any
apps,
tools or
any
apps
tools
which
or apps which name of any tools or
Hmm.
apps.
Right. So, I think as a PM, you constantly need to uh, design workflows, have, maybe create wireframes,
Yeah.
or
Mm.
come up with visual ways of explaining things to either your engineer, your designer, stakeholders, etc. Right. So, a tool like, say, I personally use Whimsical.
Uh-huh.
Whimsical again allows you to wireframe things very fast. It allows you to create flowcharts. It allows you to create uh, different showcase different experiences on a very broad canvas, right?
Okay.
Whimsical is amazing. Apart from that, ChatGPT goes without saying.
Right.
Literally, like almost 50% of the work now happens with ChatGPT, at
Yeah.
least in our community, right? Just anything from writing content to structuring ideas to brainstorming to figuring out the pros and cons behind the decision, etc. You can leverage ChatGPT to do it. Apart from that, I would suggest get really good at writing, right?
Okay.
There's not a tool suggestion, but a skill suggestion. Like, how do you get exceptional at writing and communicating as an individual, right? That in itself will separate you from the 99% of the PMs to help you becoming like a top 1% PM, right? Getting really, really good at writing well, and it's a very hard thing to attain, right? And now with the help of ChatGPT, etc., you can even do it better, right? You can write how you want, you can ask it to structure it well, you
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
ask
right.
it to, make it more concise, stuff like that, right? That's super important. What else? Staying on top of what's happening is super important, right?
Okay.
So again, being part of the right communities, being following the right kind of people on social, etc. These helps in staying abreast, everything new that's happening in your space, right? This one. Then again, not a product app, but Kindle. I love Kindle, using Kindle all the time,
Oh,
like on my
oh,
phone, iPad, etc., wherever. So it's like super easy to just scroll through social media, or
Mm.
maybe read for a few minutes when you're commuting, or when you're uh, you know getting some off time from your schedule, etc. I think these are some tools. What else? Like, apart from that, there are typical tools like, say, Figma, Jira, Asana, Notion,
Yeah, that too.
uh, SQL, Mixpanel, Amplitude, etc. Right? Product analytics tools, uh, tools like, say, Hotjar, Userflow. All of these tools obviously come under those essentials, so that's why I didn't name them. But these are like bare bones of building a product, right? So you need to learn how to use something like, say, a Google Analytics, or looking at data and deciphering insights and stuff like that, right? Those things will help you do a better job at it, right? Learn how can you make a landing page that converts really well, right? So if you are building a landing page and there's a form in it which signifies interest, what percent of people are you able to convert from that landing page, right,
okay.
for
Yeah.
what you want to
Okay.
do? Stuff like that is like super important, I feel. Just a culmination of all of these things put together, it should, I think, be super helpful.
one question from my end. So Project Unconference is coming up. Why the word unconference? Is it like deconstructing it, or there is something else to it?
Right. So again, we have been to hundreds of conferences
Yeah.
Yeah.
overall, right? Either as speakers or either as attendees, or we have seen a lot of experiential conferences,
Mm.
and we were bored of the standard stuff that happens, right? In any given conference, we didn't want to create just another conference, right?
Yeah.
So unconference is our idea behind how a full day conference should look like, right?
Okay.
Okay.
It should be centered around knowledge sharing, but it
Mm.
should also be people. For example, unconference. For unconference, you only allow people with 10 plus years of experience to join in, right? So
Mm.
when people like leaders like those come, they network well with each other, right?
True.
Yes.
Uh, we have something called as roundtables. For example, in a fintech roundtable, you will have senior leaders from most of the top companies in India sitting in one round table and discussing about fintech ideas, right? Same goes for OTT, right? So last time we had someone from
Mm.
Amazon, Netflix,
Okay.
Spotify, etc., from YouTube, a lot of these OTT and media platforms to come and sit on a single round table and share their ideas,
Yeah.
right? Discuss among each other. Even the entire event experience is set up very differently than what you would see in a regular conference, right? So that's why we decided to call it unconference, and it's literally an unconference. It is designed to be something very different, and it is our way of how a conference should be like.
Conferences. So there is one more question which is from my end. Like we use a lot of products daily, but we remember only one or two, three products or one or two features. So in every product, there is a saturation point of the users. So how to, maintain that user base, how to keep them increasing, like what should we do in our product? So can you give some like insights regarding that?
Right. So this is more like a retention question, I feel. It's not about saturation in terms of features, but this is more about retaining the same set of users, right? Now in terms of features, they generally don't saturate very fast if they serve the utility, right? If you are a Zomato user, the need to order food will always be there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Now the way you order, the what you order, from where you order, what kind of things you order, those things
Mm.
will keep changing, and
Yeah.
those things obviously the business will have to evolve, right? For example, if you remember, Zomato again earlier just had a way for you to scan menu cards, right? Just
Yeah.
see menu
They
cards
didn't.
and
Yeah.
call a restaurant,
Yes, right.
etc. They didn't even
Mm.
allow ordering, right? They realized that now that everything is in place, the logistics is in place, they introduce food ordering directly, right?
Okay.
Now, maybe few years down the line, now that they have Blinkit, they have enabled quick commerce. Few years down the line, they might do something different, right? They have a new product coming up called District, which will allow you to experience live events, right? Go to concerts and
Mm.
anything that's related to going out, right? So again, these are things you do to expand your product, to again figure out a way to understand your users' needs and deliver it to them in the most efficient way. That's all building products is about, right? If you can understand what I want and if you can give it to me at a very efficient manner, in a very efficient manner, then why will I leave, right?
Yeah. You're
People
right.
who are using Amazon have been using it for since years,
True.
right?
Yeah,
People who
right.
are using, say, Instagram or say YouTube, they have been using it for years.
True.
Now,
You're right.
features come and go, right? Features will always come and go. It will evolve as different products evolve. But the
Right.
basic need to get entertained or the basic need to be stay connected with your friends and family and colleagues, those things will never go away, right? The shape and form can change, the way it's formatted or the way it's structured can change, but the
Hmm.
core need behind a user will never really change in
You're
that
right.
sense, right? So yeah,
Uh, so Oh yeah,
well,
so that's it from us. Thanks for being. We actually had a lot of hiccups, but
no
thank you for
problem.
being with us. That's it. That's it from our listeners. Thank you, Aditya.
Yeah,
And
it was kind of very like wonderful for me. I am definitely interested in broadman roles. So your insights were very helpful, and I will definitely apply them to become a good product manager. And thank you so much for being here and taking out of your time. and it's really honor for us to have you in our podcast. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks
Aditya.
so much. Had a great time. Had a great time here. And again, to all the listeners, to all the students, if there's anything I can help with, please feel free to reach out on
Yeah, sure.
LinkedIn or email. Happy to help. So thank you. All
Okay.
the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.